D3 is a very popular SVG library. However, it also had a lot of interpolation helpers inside of it. These are packaged up in a separate npm module called D3 interpolate. We're going to take a look at how we can use D3 interpolate and animated to recreate an effect that we would typically use with just animated. So if we take a look at our render function, we'll have a background color and a transform for a translate Y. So if we refresh this and we animate, we can see that we offset 200 and animate from a tomato to a blue. So let's copy and paste these so we have access to them later. And we can delete our animated styles and also change this from a regular animated view to a view. And then we can also remove this because we're just going to be passing in a single style of box. And we'll make sure we get a ref of the view so we can call set native props. When we press on our button, we'll call our handle press and it will trigger an animation from 0 to 1. So why don't we attach a this.state.animation.addListener so we can get access to the value that animated is animating. We'll then set up two interpolations. We'll say const position interpolate, and we'll use just an interpolate number from D3 interpolate. So we'll say interpolate number, and we'll say from 0 to 200. This is basically the equivalent of an input range in animated. We'll then say const color interpolate is equal to interpolate RGB, and we'll pass in our two RGB colors. These will return functions that will take a value between 0 and 1 and return the appropriate interpolated value for us. So this is why we have an animated value from 0 to 1. So we can now set up a const position and say position interpolate and pass in our value, and then also do a const color and do our color interpolate and pass in our value. So these are calling our interpolators, passing in a value that is between 0 and 1, and then this will return the interpolated values that we can use. So now we just need to rebuild our style so that we can override it with set native props. So we'll say const style is equal to an array, because we already have a styles.box on here, so we don't want to blow away the box styling. So we'll say styles.box, and also a new object, and we'll say background color, and we'll pass in our color, and we'll set up a transform. Pass in our translate Y, and pass in our position. So now we can then do our this.view and call set native props, pass in our new style for our style object. So now we can refresh this and we press on our box. We have the same exact effect. We just rebuilt it using D3 interpolate and set native props.